Good morning, children. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nikki. I'm going to teach you the biology subject. In the previous classes, you learned a chapter called tissues, right? You didn't complete that chapter. You just learned till the muscular tissue. So, I'm going to teach you from the animal tissue itself. So, in my session, we are going to study the animal tissues. Then we will complete the chapter. Okay. The tissues. Chapter 6. All of you take your text. Chapter 6. Tissues. So this is the continuation of that chapter. You know that there are two types of tissues both in plants and animals. Animal tissues are of four types. What is animal tissue? The tissues seen in the body of animals, right? Yes, there are four types of animal tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and the nervous tissue are the four types of animal tissues. Just memorize it. There are four types of animal tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and the nervous tissue. So first we are going to deal with the epithelial tissue or the epithelium tissue. Epithelial tissue is otherwise known as epithelium tissue. It consists of a single layer of cells. These tissues consist of a single layer of cells. ഒരു ഒറ്റ ലെയർ മാത്രമുള്ള കുറച്ച് സെൽസ് ആണ് ഈ ടിഷ്യൂസിൽ കാണുന്നത്. Blood vessels are absent on the epithelial tissues. There is no blood vessels into the epithelial tissues. Okay, so on the over the epithelial tissues there is no blood vessels. Then epithelial tissues, the third point. Epithelial tissues, it covers all organs. So epithelial tissues will cover all the vital organs. എല്ലാ അവയവങ്ങളെയും പൊതിഞ്ഞു കാണുന്നത് epithelial tissue ആണ്. Then last point, skin, lining of mouth, lining of blood vessels, kidney tubules, etc. are made up of this tissue. Our skin, then lining of mouth. What it means? Lining means the inner wall of our mouth. നമ്മുടെ വായയുടെ ഉൾവശം, ഉൾഭിത്തി, walls, inner walls. It is made up of epithelium tissue. Then lining of blood vessels, the inner wall of blood vessels, which is made up of the epithelial tissue. And kidney tubules. Kidney tubules, inside our kidney there are tubules called renal tubules. Okay, it will help for the filtration process. Okay, so that tubules is also lined by the epithelial tissues. Okay, so epithelial tissues are the single layer of cells. Blood vessels are absent on it. Then it will cover all the important internal organs. Skin, inner lining of mouth, inner blood vessels, kidney tubules, etc. is made up of the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is classified into four types. Epithelial tissue itself classified into four types. First type is the squamous epithelium. Second one, the cuboidal epithelium. Third one, columnar epithelium. Fourth one is the striated squamous epithelium. Once again I will tell you students: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, and the striated epithelium. These are the four types of epithelial tissues. Children, the first type of epithelial tissue that we said, it is the squamous epithelium. You can see the image of squamous epithelium. What it look like? See, cells arranged end to end like tiles on the floor. Have you seen the tiles laid on the garden or in front of your house or inside your house? It is laid very closely, right? One tile will place near to, very close to the next tile without any gap, right? In the same way, look, each cell in the squamous epithelium is laid very close to each other. Then squamous epithelium forms the lining of cavities of mouth, esophagus, nose, alveoli, etc. Yes, this squamous epithelium, this type of epithelium will lines the cavity of mouth. The cavity of mouth means നമ്മുടെ മൗത്തിൻ്റെ അകത്തുള്ള ആ സ്പേസിനെയാണ് ക്യാവിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആ ക്യാവിറ്റിയുടെ ഇന്നർ വാൾസിനെ കവർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ലൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് സ്ക്വാമസ് എപ്പിത്തീലിയമാണ്. ദെൻ ഈസോഫാഗസ്. ഈസോഫാഗസ്, ദി പാസേജ് ഓഫ് ഫുഡ്. യു നോ ദാറ്റ് the passage of food, the long tube which carrying our food to stomach is known as the esophagus. This tube, the inner walls of esophagus, is also covered by squamous epithelium. Then nose and alveoli. Inside our nose, the inner walls of nose is also covered by squamous epithelium. It also form blood vessels covering of tongue and skin. Yes, squamous epithelium forms our blood vessels. Then it also covers the tongue and the skin. നമ്മളുടെ നാക്കും സ്കിന്നിനൊക്കെ കവർ ചെയ്യും. മാത്രമല്ല ബ്ലഡ് വെസൽസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നതും ഈ സ്ക്വാമസ് എപ്പിത്തീലിയം കൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ്. Epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. Look children, our squamous epithelium are placed one layer over the other. So this is one layer of squamous epithelium. Actually, it occurs one layer over the other layer. In that manner, the squamous epithelium is arranged. By arranging like this, we can prevent the wear and tear of the skin. Okay. സോ നമ്മളുടെ തൊലിപ്പുറത്ത്, നമ്മുടെ സ്കിന്നിൽ ഈ സ്ക്വാമസ് എപ്പിത്തീലിയം ഓരോ ലെയറുകളായിട്ടാണ് കാണാം. ഒരു ലെയർ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും, അതിൻ്റെ പുറത്തു കൂടെ മറ്റൊരു ലെയർ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും, അതിൻ്റെയും പുറത്തു കൂടെ മറ്റൊരു ലെയർ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും. ഇഫ് അതിൻ്റെ ടോപ്പ് മോസ്റ്റ് ലെയറിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും വിയർ ആൻഡ് ടിയർ പറ്റിയാലും, അതായത് ചെറിയ വല്ല കീറലുകളോ പൊട്ടലുകളോ ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായാലും, ഇന്നർ ലെയേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് സ്ക്വാമസ് എപ്പിത്തീലിയം വിൽ പ്രൊട്ടക്ട് us. Yes. The second type epithelial tissue is the cuboidal epithelium. From the name itself, we can assume the character of the epithelium tissue. What it is? Cuboidal epithelium. That means in this epithelium, the cells are in cube shape. Noku, cells of these tissues are cube shaped. So in this epithelial tissue, all the cells are in cube shaped. It is found in kidney, thyroid vessels and in glands like salivary gland, sweat gland. Okay, so the cuboidal epithelium is present in our kidney. Then thyroid vessels. You know that thyroid is a gland situated on our throat. നമ്മുടെ തൊണ്ടയിൽ സിറ്റുവേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഗ്ലാൻഡാണ് തൈറോയിഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ തൈറോയിഡ് ഗ്ലാൻഡിൻ്റെ വെസിക്കിൾസിൽ അതേപോലെ തന്നെ several glands are there in our body too. The gland which produce saliva, നമ്മുടെ വായയിൽ സലൈവ, ഉമിനീര് പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു ഗ്ലാൻഡ് ഉണ്ട്, സലൈവറി ഗ്ലാൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയും. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ ശരീരത്തിൽ വിയർപ്പ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന ഗ്ലാൻഡുകളുണ്ട്, അതിന് സ്വെറ്റ് ഗ്ലാൻഡ്സ് എന്നാണ് പറയുക. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദി cuboidal epithelium is common in kidney, thyroid vesicles, in glands like salivary gland and the sweat glands. Then cuboidal epithelium provides mechanical support. Okay, cuboidal epithelium will give a support to our body parts. Then it forms germinal epithelium like testis and ovary. Yes, the last point, have you read that last point? Look, if it forms germinal epithelium like testis and ovary. So what is testis? Testis is the reproductive structure in males. മെയിൽസിൽ, പുരുഷന്മാരിൽ കാണുന്ന റീപ്രൊഡക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സ്ട്രക്ചേഴ്സാണ് ഏത്? ടെസ്റ്റിസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ദെൻ ഓവറി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാലോ ഫീമെയിൽസിൽ കാണുന്ന റീപ്രൊഡക്റ്റീവ് സ്ട്രക്ചറാണ്. സോ ഇൻ ദീസ് ടു സ്ട്രക്ചേഴ്സ് വി ക്യാൻ സീ ദി cuboidal epithelium. So cuboidal epithelium means all the cells are in cube shape. It is present in kidney, thyroid gland and several other glands like salivary gland, sweat gland, etc. It gives mechanical support to our body. It will give a rigid support to our body. It also present in the reproductive organs like testis and ovary. The third type of epithelial tissue is the columnar epithelium. What it is, children? Columnar epithelium. The cells in the columnar epithelium is pillar-like. Have you seen the pillars? The big pillars? Yes, it is in a vertical, large pillar, right? Yes, in the same way you can see the cells are pillar-like, large and elongated. So these cells in the columnar epithelium is in pillar-like structures. It forms the lining of stomach. Okay, the columnar epithelium will present on the lining of stomach. Okay, inside our stomach, the inner walls of stomach is covered by the columnar epithelium. It also forms small intestine and large intestine. Yes, this columnar epithelium will found in small intestine and large intestine as well. We can see the columnar epithelium in small intestine. Small intestine എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ചെറുകുടൽ അല്ലേ? ലാർജ് ഇൻറ്റസ്റ്റൈൻ എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ വൻകുടൽ. ഇവിടെയും നമുക്ക് columnar epithelium കാണാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കും. It have thread on its structure which helps in absorption. Yes, students. In the columnar epithelium, on the surface of the columnar epithelium, this is the surface of columnar epithelium, we can see some thread-like structures. Let's try to draw some thread-like structures like this. See, some thread-like structures are arising. Some thread-like structures are arising like this from the surface of columnar epithelium. It is for the absorption of materials. Through these thread-like structures, this epithelial tissue will absorb the materials. Then the next type, the fourth type of epithelium is the striated squamous epithelium. Striated squamous epithelium. It consists of squamous epithelium arranged in layers. We already studied the squamous epithelium. What it is, squamous epithelium? We already studied that squamous epithelium. This is the squamous epithelium. If we arrange the squamous epithelium one layer over the other, it will make the striated squamous epithelium. Okay, if this squamous epithelium arranged one layer over the other, when we stack or when we combine the epithelial layers one by one over the other, we will get the striated squamous epithelium. Okay, have you understand how this squamous epithelium forms? Yes, the squamous epithelium, the striated squamous epithelium present in the uterine as well as the esophagus. Okay, so this striated squamous epithelium is present in the uterus and the esophagus. Uterus is the female reproductive organ. Okay, then esophagus, you know that the long tube which carries food from our mouth to stomach, that is esophagus. We can see this striated squamous epithelium in both these structures. The next type of tissue is the connective tissue. Children, so we covered the epithelial tissue completely. Now we are going to study the connective tissue. From the name itself, we can understand what the tissue is. Connective tissue, that means tissue which make connections. രണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങളെ തമ്മിൽ കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഈ ടിഷ്യൂസിൻ്റെ മെയിൻ ഫങ്ഷൻ. ലെറ്റ്സ് ചെക്ക്. cells in the connective tissue is widely spaced. Yes, in the connective tissue, the cells are widely spaced. There is gap between the cells in the connective tissue. That is the first point. And the second point, the basic function is to provide support and connect different organs. Yes, children, look at the second point. The basic function is to provide support and connect different organs. The connective tissue will give a support to us as well as it will connect our internal organs. If there is no connection, what will happen? Our internal organs will not remain in its correct place, right? If our eye is not in a proper contact with our eye socket, what will happen? Eye will drop. Eye will come out of the eye socket. Connective tissue. From the name itself, we can identify its role. Connective tissues are the tissues which give support and connect the different organs. Okay, so connective tissue എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? നമുക്ക് സപ്പോർട്ട് തരുന്ന ടിഷ്യൂ ആണ്. മാത്രമല്ല നമ്മളുടെ ഇൻറ്റേർണൽ ഓർഗൻസിനെ, ഹാർട്ട്, ലങ്സ്, ഐസ് എക്സെട്ര ഇൻറ്റേർണൽ ഓർഗൻസിനെ അതിൻ്റെ കറക്റ്റ് പൊസിഷനിൽ പിടിച്ചു നിർത്താൻ, കണക്ട് ചെയ്ത് നിർത്താൻ വേണ്ടി സഹായിക്കുന്ന ടിഷ്യൂ കൂടിയാണ് കണക്റ്റീവ് ടിഷ്യൂ. Okay, the cells inside the connective tissue is widely spaced. So, in the connective tissue, the cells are widely spaced. That means inside this tissue, in between the cells, we can see some gaps. Okay, in between cells, there is some gaps in the connective tissue. Connective tissue is also classified into 4. What it is? Alveolar tissue, adipose tissue, skeletal tissue and the fluid tissue. These are the 4 types of connective tissues. Okay. So let's check the first connective tissue called the alveolar tissue. This tissue fills space inside the organs and is found in between the skin and muscles, around the blood vessels, nerves and in bone marrow. So where the alveolar tissue see? It see inside our organs, our vital organs, inside our heart, inside our kidney, all the internal organs. We can see this alveolar tissue inside all the organs. And also it is found between the skin and the muscle. We can see areolar tissue between the skin and the muscle. And we can see the areolar tissue around the blood vessels. നമുക്ക് areolar tissuesനെ ബ്ലഡ് വെസൽസിന് ചുറ്റും, രക്തക്കുഴലുകളുടെ ചുറ്റും കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. Then surrounds it, areolar tissues surrounds the nerves also. Okay, nervesന്റെ ചുറ്റും നമുക്ക് alveolar tissuesനെ കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. And in the bone marrow, we can also see the areolar tissues in the bone marrow. Okay, once again children, areolar tissues are the first type of connective tissue. It fills the space inside the vital organ. We know that inside our vital organs there is some space, right? That space is filled by the areolar tissue. And we can see the areolar tissue in between our skin and muscle. It is present by surrounding the blood vessels, nerves, etc. Okay, we can see this tissue in the surroundings of blood vessels and nerves. And it is also present in bone marrow. So, okay children, for now I am concluding my session. We will meet on the next class. You have to study all the topics we discussed now. You already studied all this, right? So you have to study all the topics thoroughly. I will ask questions for the next session. Okay, then you have to make notes on the topics we discussed. Thank you, children. Thanks for watching.